Matthew Barnaby Jr. enters the Maple Leafs prospects camp this week a bit differently than the 9 players who joined the organization at the NHL draft this past weekend. Barnaby, the son of former NHL Matthew Barnaby, was not drafted into the NHL. The 20-year-old Buffalo native, and the Pembroke Lumber Kings' leading scorer the past 2 seasons, is instead a camp invitee. On-ice sessions begin Tuesday. Rasmus Sandin, selected by Toronto in the first round, 29th overall at last weekend's NHL draft, will be among those on the ice Tuesday at the Leafs prospects camp. Tom Pennington, Getty Images. Barnaby has committed to Lake Superior State University for the coming season, and given how bloodlines in baseball and hockey have drawn increased interest from media and team management this past year, Barnaby presents an interesting case for the Leafs and local hockey fans. In an ideal world, Barnaby raises eyebrows at Toronto's prospects camp, and elevates the club's interest in signing him to a pro contract in the future. That would hinge on whether Barnaby decides to play some, or all, of his 4 years in U.S. college hockey. Once he signs a pro contract, he would forego his college career. Barnaby, who joins T.J. Fergus as players in the prospects camp with NHL fathers, has time on his side in terms of his pro options. But the Leafs, who have 10 U.S. college prospects among the 46 players in camp this week, are no strangers to signing and drafting players out of the American college system. Article continued. Bella. One other interesting bloodline is 20-year-old J.D. Greenway, brother of Minnesota Wild forward Jordan Greenway, and the Leafs' third-round, 72nd overall, pick in 2016. Goalie Joseph Woll, for instance, was selected in the third round of the 2016 draft out of Boston College, and will be one of 4 goalies at prospects camp. Woll, just like dozens of other American-born NHL players, has chosen to participate in the U.S. national team development program. Barnaby, on top of starring for Pembroke the past 2 years, spent time in 2016-17 with the U.S. high school USHS program as part of the Avon Old Farms team out of Avon. With Matt, he was one of the top offensive players in our league, Central Canada Hockey League, said Lumber Kings coach Dale McTavish, who played with the Calgary Flames in 1996-97. He has a really high-end hockey IQ, he skates well and has great hands. He has to work on size and strength, but he's a late bloomer, and he's definitely attractive to NHL teams. Barnaby's next stop, after this week's prospect camp, is with Lake Superior State University, which also recruited Lumber Kings teammate Patrick Kyle. There are, of course, other binding ties for Barnaby, who is graduating from a Lumber Kings program that had a .700 plus winning percentage under former coach Sheldon Keefe, who just led the Marlies to the Calder Cup. Article continued. Below. Whether he's a flyer, or at the same time, an investment in the future, Barnaby reportedly gets noticed on the ice for puck skills, but also, in part, for his compete level. He got hit in the face by a puck in a playoff game last spring and broke his nose. He didn't miss a shift and scored a goal on his next shift, said McTavish, who bought the Lumber Kings from Keefe in 2013. Barnaby won the Terry O'Neill Leading Scorer Award in Pembroke this past season with 32 goals and 44 assists in 62 games, a 1.23 points per game pace that also ranked him third in CCHL scoring. Part of that production saw him chip in 11 power play goals and 6 game winners. Barnaby's hardware haul also include the Dr. Terry Olszewski Award as the team's MVP. He's by no means the same kind of player as his father, McTavish said of the elder Barnaby, who was one of the NHL's top fighters during his career, who amassed 2,562 penalty minutes in a career that spanned 1992 to 2007, but he has grit, and the thing he has to do is grow into his body. But I think right now, he's got high-end talent on offense. and the past 2 seasons, he learned and improved on the defensive side of things. Here are 5 players to watch in camp, which produced 12 of the 23 players who were on the Leaf roster this past season, and 14 of the 29 players on the Calder Cup-winning Marlies roster. 1. Rasmus Sandin, selected in the first round, 29th overall last weekend in Dallas. This is Sandin's first on-ice exposure to the Leafs coaching staff and the team's media market. Point 2. Chandra, a talented skater and passer who North American Central Scouting said made the biggest jump of any player in this year's draft. He was Toronto's second-round pick. Point 3. Chris Vanos-Shaw, another camp invitee and former Humboldt Bronco. Vanos-Shaw was named the 2017-18 CJHL MVP, scoring 97 points, 51 goals for the Spruce Grove Saints. Point 4. Fedor Gordeev, a 5th-round pick in 2017, Gordeev is the biggest player in camp, 6'6", and was a physical presence with Flint in the O last season. An interesting prospect, when this year's draft saw many smaller, skilled selected. Point 5. Nikolai Chebikin, the 21-year-old, a 7th-round pick in 2016, has size, 6'4", and a great release. After limited time in the KHL, he is expected to draw a more regular role in Russia's top pro league this season.